Oh yeah, brother, welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Underdogs podcast, brought to you by BetOnline and the Believe Podcast Network. Oh yeah. We're back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back on for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your number one spot for the pro and college action this season. With a new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the number one source for everything football. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to receive your bonus. From football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of the all-amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. And now, the Fantasy Underdogs podcast. And welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Fantasy Underdogs podcast, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network and also betonline.ag. Welcome to week 6, everybody.
Week 6.
I am a little hungover from last night.
Yes, you are.
Me as well.
Yes, you as well. You did like a bender yesterday. Didn't you?
Yeah, it was a long day.
Yeah, my wife and I actually had a date night last night, so we went and had wine and did it up, and then tomorrow, like the next day, we're just like, we know why we don't go out anymore because you just get hungover too much, and we have 3 kids, so yeah, week 6 is upon us. The injury report is like 5 miles long with guys out for this week. Before we get into our picks, let's go kind of a recap of our Thursday night football game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Not a bad game. I will say that. I mean, the first half was all Bucks, but then second half came in and the Eagles were like, you know what, we're going to make this a little bit interesting. Jalen Hurts, what was your guys' thoughts on his quarterback play on Thursday?
Jordy, you want to go?
Why don't you go first?
Okay, I'll go.
I know kind of where you're leaning.
Yeah, we talked about this before the game started. I wanted Jalen Hurts to go out, have a night, kind of show himself. We all saw Richard Sherman go out in the very beginning of the football game, and my eyes kind of like lit up, and I was like, there's no, really corners back there that are of any caliber. So you have a first-round pick in Smith, you have a first-round pick in Rager. So you have 2 first-round wide receivers. You should be able to have a day. And I guess I was just kind of I thought that Hurts he can make things happen with his legs, and we know that he can do that. But as an NFL quarterback, I don't know if that is going to be able to pull you through as an every week starter at that position. So he missed a couple of really not easy throws, but throws you should make as a starter. And that's not going to get you victories. So,
Chip, doesn't that come with development, though? I mean, he's still a young quarterback in this league. I mean, he's going to make.
I think, it does. I think that he's played quarterback a long time, and if you can't make a 15-yard out and you constantly miss people or overthrow, I don't know if that's development. Learning an offensive scheme and learning the things where players are going to be is development, but making a 15-yard out and throwing the ball shouldn't be developmental by now. You're in the NFL. So that shouldn't be a pass you need to develop. You should make that pass.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not out on Jalen Hurts by any stretch of the imagination. I still think there are red flags, and I agree 100% with you, Chip, but I still think there is room for him to grow a little bit.
Yep.
So I'm not going to totally like the way Eagles Twitter talks about Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, you would have think they would have been on this team for 6 years, and it's time for them to go. It's like it's week 6 of them together. So I'm like, everyone just needs to chill out a little bit. I understand we want results and we want them now, but this is brand new head coach, brand new offensive coordinator, brand new quarterback, a bunch of young talent. Like there are still things that are going to take some time to figure out, and I'm hoping they can move in that direction. But yeah, Jalen Hurts wasn't perfect. There's a lot of good that I see from him. Obviously, there's something to hold on to, but there are some things that we do have to keep our eye on, and I definitely think he could have stepped up a little bit more in Thursday night, but I'm not going to bash him for it. I'm just going to say I just need to see you learning from it and working in the right direction, and I'll give you a little bit of time to try and get it together.
How many red flags does he have on him? Because you were like, red flags, how many? Is it too many, or is it just...
No, it's really the passing for me.
Okay.
Like the fact I know he can throw. Like I know he has it in him, but he's really only throwing max like 45 yards, and that's like his deep ball. So, and then like Chip was saying, like the 15-yard little passes that you can't really be 100% accurate on. There were a couple things that were just slightly left, slightly right, a little overthrown. Like, and here and there, that's fine, but there has been a pattern of that so far this season, and I just want to try and get that under control, because if we can't, then that's something that I don't know if you can be a long-term quarterback. But like I said, it's only week 6. He's had 10 NFL starts. Like it's not something I'm going to throw him out the window for right now, but it is something I want to watch and make sure it does improve.
Okay. Something that developed the next day was Zach Ertz had a great game against the Buccaneers. It gets traded to Arizona the next day. Thoughts on your trade? Like, how does that impact both teams and fantasy value wise? Does this make Ertz's value possibly go up with him going to the Cardinals in that really high octane offense? Chip, what do you think about that trade the next day that happened?
I mean, I think it uncomplicates things for Philadelphia, and now you're down to one tight end, so that should be something that Hurts can build on now instead of having to worry about 2 guys. So I think that's good for him. On the flip side, Ertz goes to an offense that was really dependent upon Max Williams, so they needed a tight end, and they went out and got a great tight end. So I think both tight ends go up a little bit in value. Obviously, there are a lot of mouths to feed with the Cardinals, so you got a lot of people you can distribute the ball to. But the reason the Cards went out and got a tight end is because Max Williams was, I think he was a third of almost most of the targets that, Murray was throwing. So I think both get a little perk up. Obviously, Goddard now is the only tight end, and Ertz can carve out a new role.
Give me some. I think Ricky Seals Jr. Ricky Seals is like the
Jones.
Yeah, Jones. Ricky Seals Jones is. Yeah, he's like the starter now or somewhere, I think, or was in Arizona, but now Ertz comes in there. If you were a person that drafted Leonard Fournette probably late in your drafts this past year, you're now reaping the rewards of his play the past couple of weeks. Do you think this could last with Leonard Fournette and Lombardi Lenny from the Bucs? I mean, he had a great game the other night, 2 touchdowns, almost 100 yards, about 30 fantasy points this past week so far for fantasy owners. Do you think it's going to be sustainable for Lombardi Lenny to keep this pace up?
I think so. With the way he's just been trending upward, and you see them rely on him, and they kind of have this groove. And I think the Bucs, you always think they're receivers, and they have all these set receivers. And then when Gronk's healthy, you have Gronk, and you have all these options. But now you have this stellar running back that you can kind of just move down the field with. And I think they've kind of noticed that, and Tom Brady's been absolutely taking advantage of it. I don't know if his thumb thing is really all that serious. It really didn't.
It's not real.
It didn't seem to bother him really that much at all, but it's good to know that he has someone to just hand it off to that they can trust. So I definitely would buy all in on Leonard Fournette.
I mean, you definitely saw them rely on the run a lot against the Eagles because of that thumb issue.
Yeah, our run defense sucks. So that was just smart on them.
Chip, I mean, Fournette has really solidified his number 1 spot as the starting running back for Tampa Bay. If you were a fantasy owner, would you maybe try and get Ronald Jones just in case? Because we all know Bruce Arians. If you mess up once, you're benched. So is there could be some kind of value with Ronald Jones when it comes to fantasy, or is he just going to be a stash away guy on the bench?
I mean, I had him and I let go of him a week ago just because of the trends you saw Fournette getting more and more of the share. Now he's in there for some passing downs. I think Gio actually got called out too in the press as well about not blocking better. So I mean, I think it's kind of a one-man show up there now. And if you've got an extra spot on your bench and you're undefeated and you want to, plan for something or stash, you can. I think it's a wasted roster spot right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Leonard Fournette, as Jordy said, is probably the one moving forward.
Okay. I like it. I did draft Leonard Fournette in one of my leagues, and I was pretty happy about his performance the past couple of weeks. I'm like, I was like, thank you. It's like, it's about time. My running back situation, one of my leagues, the one I was 0-4 before I won last week was pretty dire, and I was like, oh, Lombardi Lenny's starting to come through now. So I'm like, okay, let's keep this train going there, Lenny. Come on.
Yes, it's looking good.
Oh, thank God. So, all right, let's get into week 6 picks. Our first matchup is the Packers versus the Bears. The Packers barely escaping against the Bengals last week, and the Bears beating the Raiders last week. So who do we got, the Packers versus the Bears this week?
I'm taking the Packers here. The Bears, I guess I should learn to stop betting against Justin Fields at some point, and I'm hoping the Packers can, because every time I do, I get screwed. But I just think the Packers overall are better. I think it's going to be closer than people are expecting. I do think with Justin Fields, the Bears are treading in the right direction, and I love everything I'm seeing from him and from them, and I like what he's been able to do on that offense. But I just think the Packers are that step above. I mean, I was expecting them to blow out the Bengals last week, and when they didn't, I was kind of like, all right, maybe the Bengals are the real deal, and I kind of put the Bengals and the Bears in that same category. I feel like they're on the same level. So I do think this is going to be a close game, hopefully not as close as last week with 6 missed field goals and coming down to double zeros in overtime. But I do think Packers are going to win.
Are we all just waiting for the Bengals just to fall flat on their face, or do you think that's ever going to happen?
I will consistently root. I want the Bengals to take off. I would love Bengals to the moon. I would love to see it. I'm just not 100% sold that they're there quite yet, but they're very close.
I think, I don't want to jump ahead.
Don't jump ahead.
Yes, I'm not going to jump ahead. The Packers are going to win, I believe. I just see there's too much offensively, I think, even though the Bears have a great defense. I know Chicago had to go to, I think, Khalil Herbert this week. So the backup Williams obviously is not, or is it Henderson or Williams? It's Williams, right? Is out. So Herbert will be playing. So Fields will keep learning, like you said, Jordy, and keep getting better. Divisional matchup. So those are always a little bit closer, but yeah, I'll take the Pack.
All right. The Bengals are playing the Lions this week. Motor City Dan Campbell was put to tears because of their loss last week. They were so close, but no cigar. And the guy that was talking about biting kneecaps in the offseason was crying last week. Will the Lions get it done against the Bengals, who lost against the Packers this week? Do you think the Lions will get their first win against the Bengals?
I want them to. I really do. I just don't think it's going to happen. They just don't seem to be able to do anything on offense. And like I said, I'm not 100% sold on the Bengals, but I do think they are a very solid football team, and I love everything I've seen. And the Lions, they just get close, but they can't close. So I can't take them this week. I might take it with the points. What's the spread? But
3.5 right now.
Yeah, I like plus 3.5. I think this could come down to be a field goal game, but I can't see them winning today.
Dude, I'm feeling a little wacky about this football game. I know the Bengals, they lost their souls last week. I mean, you saw everything they went through, and Jordy, you brought it up. Field goals missed. I mean, overtime. I mean, it was bad. And I just think
a roller coaster.
Yeah, I just think that I don't think the Bengals are all there in a headspace still. I think that game they might have lost one of their lives on that one. So I don't know. I'm kind of leaning, for no other reason, towards Detroit, just due to the fact that I don't think the Bengals are actually I think they're more talented. I just don't know. I just think Dan Campbell crying. I think the whole Lions team now, I think they're just like, oh my God, if we don't win, this guy's going to quit. So I don't know.
Do you think his tears were just a motivation of like, hey,
I think,
our coach is crying after games now. Maybe we should just, buck up and just win one for him because he's crying now.
Yeah, and their defenses are pretty similar. I don't see, offensively, there's a big gap. Defenses are kind of similar. So, I don't know. I kind of, I'm having a hard time clicking the Detroit button. But I might do that. I think I'm going to lean that direction and just go for it. I think actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to do that now. And on the air, we're just going to go back and you're going to say, you know what? I'm doing that. I'm taking Detroit. I'm feeling a little crazy. Okay. Why not? At home, they're going to win. Dan Campbell was crying. God knows they're going to do it.
If coaches crying can sway your picks to their team, I guess I'm up for that.
As you said, Dan Campbell was talking about eating kneecaps before.
Yeah,
now he's crying. He's crying in a press conference. This guy who has 8 espressos, 16 shots, double shots.
Maybe that's his strategic move. Like he was like, you know what, I'm going to be a hard ass in the offseason. And
I think it was
such a softie during the year now.
Yeah, so I'm having fun today. Today's a fun pick'em day. This last week I lost again. Christian McCaffrey's not starting again, so it's time to have fun. So I'm going to say Detroit field goal. Okay. They win. They beat them.
And no more. And do you think Dan Campbell will cry because they win? Do you think he'll have happy tears today?
I think if they win, Dan Campbell might tackle their kicker. We might see a full sprint onto the field, and then Dan Campbell might lay out his kicker.
And then bite a kneecap.
And then, hopefully he won't bite a kneecap because they need those.
That's very true.
But maybe he might hug somebody and throw them on accident or something.
Okay.
So yeah, a violent celebration. But yeah, I'm gonna step outside the lines here. I'm gonna say the Lions.
I'm gonna go with Bengals. Jordy, you got Bengals too, right?
Good.
Yep.
Okay. I totally forgot there was a game going on this morning. The Dolphins and the Jags are playing over in merry old England right now.
Dolphins just picked it as Jacksonville was driving.
Score is still 13-10 at the start of the third quarter, right?
17-13. Jags are up. But they just got picked. So
I think we all picked Jacksonville. I picked Jacksonville too.
I took it thinking there's a chance Tua was coming back, but I didn't think Tua was going to come back at 100%. So I did go with Jacksonville. Tua actually doesn't look bad at all today. But we'll say, because they just got the ball back. So
that was a flip a coin game this morning when I was actually up moving around. I was like, geez, oh Pete. And I knew that Miami's corners were both going to be out. Tua was coming back, so maybe a little delay, but he's actually looked really good.
Yeah.
So,
if anybody needs a win, it's Urban Meyer, but I don't think he's maybe getting it this week.
No, I want him to keep losing.
I don't even want it for Urban Meyer. I want it for Trevor Lawrence.
There you go.
There you go.
Get it for Duval County and also Trevor Lawrence. Okay.
Yeah, not Urban Meyer.
All right, our matchup: the Houston Texans are playing the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts losing on a wild Monday night showdown last week with the Baltimore Ravens, and the Texans losing a game they should have won against the Patriots last week. Who do we got with the Colts and the Texans?
I think the Colts are a lock today.
Yeah.
If you're going to pick one game this week, I would take the Colts over the Texans just because for the first time last week, and it was a heartbreaking loss for the Colts against the Ravens, but for the first time, you saw Carson Wentz look like a solid quarterback. He wasn't overthinking. He was clutch. He was making clutch plays, which is something we used to see from him. That's 2017 Carson. We haven't seen that in so long. So for him to kind of find that momentum back, I was like, all right, he's got it. And the Colts should have won that game, but Lamar Jackson did what Lamar Jackson does all on his own and just
one-man wrecking crew.
Yep.
But I think the Colts are getting more into a groove. So yeah, and the Texans.
T.Y. Hilton comes back today as well, I believe. So. Yeah. We'll see what that is, but yeah, I think Colts here as well.
I disagree with the whole Carson Wentz getting his groove back thing.
Really? After
small victories for Carson.
Yeah, I just don't buy it yet.
That's
you
fair.
Like Baltimore's defense has just been terrible all season long.
That's true.
I mean, give me Carson Wentz going up against a real defense, and then we'll come back to that.
I mean, hey, best case scenario for me, Carson Wentz stays healthy, keeps playing, and the Colts keep losing. So
Right.
I don't. That's literally all I could like ask for in this world. So I'm not gonna necessarily root for the Colts to win all the time, but I do think it's an easy win for them today.
Okay. Rams are playing the injury-ridden Giants. Any chance the Giants can make this a game?
Jacksonville just picked it off again.
Yes.
So Jacksonville just got the ball back. All right. No, there's no chance that the Giants win today.
Okay.
Absolutely zero.
Okay.
Negative zero. Sorry, there's so much happening right now.
Yeah, no, totally agree. I think I want to see Daniel Jones, even though he's concussed and he looked like a teenager leaving a high school party when the cops came last week. He took that big hit and he was stumbling all over the place.
That was scary.
I'm glad. It is scary. I know we're laughing. It's not funny, Jones. We want you to be okay, buddy. But Kadarius Toney for the Giants really have carved out a role over the past couple of games. And I still think, and I'm still waiting, the injury report should have come out and I should have got an email, but I haven't seen it yet. I think one of their receivers is coming back today. Sterling Shepard, maybe.
I think he is active today.
Yeah, so they are getting, speak of the devil, there it is. They are getting one of their receivers back. So I just want to see if Kadarius Toney can keep things going. I think he has a shin injury, but he's still going to play, I think, today. So I want to see that as well. So some of the bigger ones, Nick Chubb for Cleveland is out. We still have Kareem Hunt as a questionable, but coach is saying he is going to play.
Chris Carson is out.
Chris Carson is out. DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams for Detroit is in. Thank God, because if they're out, I change my pick now. Everybody else is expected to play, it looks like. So not really anything else. Tyreek Hill is in. Mike Williams in. Galladay and Darius Slayton are out. So, yeah, Sterling Shepard and Toney for the Giants will be in today.
All right. Our next matchup, the Kansas City Chiefs going against the Washington football team. Chiefs should just run away with this game. The non-existent defense that the Washington football team, I don't know what happened to them.
What a turn of events, man. I don't understand that at all. Yeah. Like, not one bit. So
that was a very fast downfall. I don't know. Like, it wasn't even, they didn't have time to even like enjoy it. Like, it was like, wow, Washington's really good. And then it's like, wow, no, they're not.
Just like everything in Washington, you just can't. There's nothing good coming out of that team.
No,
nothing now. No. Especially now with like these other reports with the Gruden report and all that stuff too. It's like, yeah. Okay. A clean sweep over that when we're all KC. Vikings and the Panthers. Panthers, Sam Darnold looking like the old Sam Darnold in the New York Jets, but he's now playing for the Panthers. Vikings. The Vikings are a weird team this year.
They're always weird.
Yeah.
They're the most unpredictable football team I've ever had. The last like 3 years, there's sometimes like, wow, the Vikings are really good. And then there's some weeks where it's like, wow, the Vikings don't even exist. Like, and I can't keep up. I've like quit betting on them for forever because it's like picking out of a bag. You never know what you're going to get.
This week, I mean, you have CMC who's out again. Chuba Hubbard is the starting running back for the Panthers this week. This one's a weird matchup for me.
Yeah.
Because the Vikings have a pretty decent defense, and Sam Darnold really kind of fell back to earth last week. Who do we got? I'm kind of split on this one. I haven't picked this one yet for my picks. So who do we got?
I'm taking the Panthers.
Okay. Yeah, at Carolina. That was the only thing. And kind of looking back at this and just running through, listen to these quarterback stats. Now, Kirk Cousins is 279 yards a game, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Sam Darnold was 273 yards a game, 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Had 3 last week, which is, I'm kind of like, what happened? I think when you take Christian McCaffrey out of this box, Sam Darnold he had one player that he depended on, and he started to go towards DJ Moore, but when you have a decent one corner, they can kind of shade coverage over to that side, and you can take him away. So I really think Sam Darnold having that presence of McCaffrey out of the backfield to throw when he felt pressure, it took stress off him and he could play better. But yeah, without McCaffrey in the lineup, you're starting to see some chinks in the armor. So this will be a prove it game for me for Sam Darnold. If he can overcome that kind of the past couple of games without McCaffrey and show that he can still get it done, I think it'll be a big boost for him moving forward.
You know what? You guys are going Panthers. I need to gain ground on you, Jordan. So I'm going Vikings on this one.
Okay.
I'm going to go Vikes.
I'm going Vikes on this one.
Yeah.
This next matchup could be a pretty exciting one.
This is the hardest decision I've ever had to make in my entire life.
The Chargers offense
it's really tough.
is a juggernaut. Ravens are just a one-man show, like Chip, you just said a couple minutes ago. Chargers have a pretty good defense, more than the Ravens do, but this might be an epic shootout between these two teams. Baltimore is traveling to Los Angeles today for this matchup. Who do we got? Ravens and Chargers.
I'm taking Chargers, just due to the fact that I just think that you can't be a one-man show in the NFL forever. Like, you can only depend on so many areas, and you have to have a complete football team. And the Chargers have more of a complete football team than the Ravens do. I remember, like, yesterday, after we lost J.K. Dobbins, after we lost the Gus Bus, everybody looked at the Ravens as was like, oh my God, they're out. No way they can overcome this. And now, dude, they're 4-1.
4-1.
Yeah, dude, they just keep on chugging. So, I mean, it's just weird to me to see how one man can really, and it seems like that, can just put a team on his back and just carry him. But I think this is where that stops.
Jordan, I know Justin Herbert's your boy.
I
know we're in week 6. Could you put Herbert in that MVP conversation? Even though I know we're in week 6, I know it's kind of early. Could we put Herbert in that conversation?
Absolutely. I think Herbert and Lamar Jackson both deserve to be in the conversation at this stage of the game. Lamar Jackson, I just think he deserves it just because they are winning games, and it's only him out there that is making it happen. Like, he is just being an absolute wizard right now. I do agree, Chip, with what you said. You can't do that for forever. Like, he's been able to figure out, and he's been able to kind of finish these games out, and they come very close down to the end, but it's tough to carry an entire football team literally on your own back. I literally, before this show, I had the Ravens picked. And then right before we went live, I switched it to the Chargers. And I do think I'm going to stick with the Chargers just because, I mean, what we saw from them last week against the Browns, like, the Browns have a very legit defense, and they were still able to put up 40-plus points and win. The Ravens don't have that. So I just think the Chargers are going to be able to get the upper hand here today. But if Lamar Jackson comes out in the last 15 seconds of this game and has a rushing touchdown to win it, like, I would not be shocked at all. But I am going to take the Chargers.
Mike Williams, is he out today? Or is
he's questionable. They're saying he's expected to play. It's a knee issue, which is kind of weird. It didn't come up until midweek. So we'll see. But I want to say Hollywood Brown has stepped up now and finally kind of taken the mantle.
Finally.
Of a wide receiver one, and Mark Andrews obviously has always been a good target for Lamar as well. So I think also the running game today, you could see Latavius Murray, you could see some of those guys, because obviously Cleveland ran the football like a possessed team last week.
I like that word.
Yeah, I mean, so Lamar Jackson might have 300 yards rushing and 300 yards passing today. So who knows what will happen? But I agree, the game itself should be a great game.
I love the fact that the Browns defense, they basically had to let the Chargers score to get the ball back. They're like, okay, what's the play? Well, we got to let them score. That was hilarious. It made Eckler's day.
They carried Eckler almost into the end zone.
It's like, okay, here you go.
Into the end zone. I've never seen anything. They literally will, like, get in there. Like, we know it's going to happen anyway. Give us more time.
Just score. Yep. All right, so it's a clean sweep on that one. So we're all doing the Chargers on that one. Okay.
All doing the Chargers. So, dude, Lamar Jackson has 341 rushing yards, and Austin Eckler has 349. Just to give you a little little scale there.
Little tidbit on that one.
Little knowledge.
Little nugget of knowledge. I like that. Okay.
Knowledge
If
to
you
partake.
combine Lamar Jackson's passing and rushing yards this season, combined, he has more than 18 total teams, like offenses. He's a madman, and I love everything about it.
Yep.
Browns versus Cardinals. This could be another shootout like the Browns had last week against the Chargers.
Yep.
Who do we got? Browns versus Cardinals.
This game is weird to me because
Tough one.
Arizona is getting points and they're undefeated. So I'm kind of like, why is Arizona getting points? You still have all the pass rushers for the Browns playing today. I think there were 2 tackles, I think, with Cleveland that might have some issues starting. It was either Jedrick Willis and Conklin as well. So, but I mean, I'm sticking with the Cardinals here. They're undefeated, and I think this will be another great game, obviously, 4:00. But you know, I think Baker had his best game so far this year last week. So you could see the offense catch fire. And if they can keep Kyler Murray in the pocket with the rush and kind of keep him back there, you could flip a coin maybe. But I'm going to go with Arizona.
A great story behind this game, too, because Kyler Murray and Baker were once roommates in college over at Oklahoma. Great story behind that. I know. Bromance right there. Jordy, you know, I got to ask what the running back situation in Cleveland is kind of up in there right now. Nick Chubb is out today. Yeah. Kareem Hunt is a questionable until probably game time. They probably won't decide that until maybe up until 90 minutes before the game happens. If Hunt is out and not able to play today, I mean, are you going to give the edge more to the Cardinals? Obviously, I think you're going to probably pick the Cardinals.
I already, this is a no-brainer for me. Cardinals are going to win either way, but throughout the week, I know they're having a lot of COVID issues. Their head coach is out for COVID protocol, but I still think this team they just seem very comfortable, and they know how, it just seems like they know how to plan for whoever they're going up against. So I just think, especially losing Chubb is a huge blow, especially if Kareem Hunt, even if he plays, if he's not 100% and you also don't have Chubb out there, I just think it's going to hurt the Browns a lot. And the Cardinals are just smart. So I think they're going to be able to figure it out and get the best of Baker Mayfield.
All right. This will be the first game the Raiders will play without John Gruden after the infamous Gruden Gate emails that came out last week. The Broncos are going to be without Teddy Bridgewater. He is out with a concussion and concussion protocol. So Drew Lock will make the start today against the Raiders. Who do we got in the Raiders versus Broncos?
I want to hear you guys go first on this one because I'm very torn.
I'm going sure on Teddy Bridgewater.
I thought he was out with a concussion. I thought he was in protocols. Are they saying he's in?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing.
He's playing. All right.
Last I heard he was playing. That's why I was about to change my pick because I don't trust Drew Lock, but I trust Teddy Bridgewater.
See, I don't know because usually when something happens with a head coach, usually teams rally around the new interim coach and win the game. That's why I'm picking the Raiders on this one.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're going to be in Las Vegas too. They're in Las Vegas.
No, they're at Denver.
Are they in there?
Yeah.
They're right.
I'm gonna stick with Denver on this one. I think the Raiders obviously are still trying to. Too many distractions, too many things going on. But yeah, I'll take Denver.
Okay. I don't know what happened to Jordan. She just turned into me for a second there. I don't know. I'll pick the Raiders on this one. I think with what happened with Gruden, I think they'll have a huge, nice team meeting. They've probably been having them all week long, and then they're going to rally behind the coach this afternoon. Derek Carr's been playing pretty well this season. He's been putting up great numbers as well. So, yeah, I'm going with the Raiders on this one. Chip, our next matchup is the Cowboys versus the Patriots. The Patriots barely escaped the – there she is. She's back. You turned into me there for a second.
I lost Wi-Fi. I know. I don't know how that happened, but I lost Wi-Fi and I had to switch.
So who is your pick for the Broncos and Raiders? Are you going Broncos if Bridgewater's starting?
I'm going to go Broncos just because I feel like there is a thing like when a team loses their head coach, they bounce back but I think that's when the head coach is terrible and it gets fired. Like John Gruden had a very close relationship especially with Derek Carr. Like I think it is going to be a big blow for them. So I think it's going to take them a minute to figure it out. And the Broncos, I get it. They've only beat like really crappy teams, but I still think they are good. Like they have a lot of good pieces. So I'm rolling with the Broncos today.
Okay. All right. So the Cowboys versus Patriots. Patriots, they should have lost last week against the Texans. They should have, but they squeaked it out against the Houston Texans. Cowboys looking good. Probably going to run away with the NFC least. Sorry, Jordan.
No, it's fine. I agree.
I'm sorry. This should be a pretty easy win against the Patriots for the Cowboys. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's always you're at New England and, there's always that mystique of going up there to Gillette. But no, I think Dak Prescott and the wide receiver trio was Ezekiel Elliott should be okay today.
All right. And our last matchup, I don't even like this one. Like everybody's out in the Seahawks.
This is a cool game. Go Steelers.
Yeah, it would be an easy win for the Steelers because like the Seahawks are just playing. I mean, Geno Smith behind center, Chris Carson's out.
I'm actually kind of intrigued to see Geno Smith. I still think the Steelers are easily going to win, but I'm interested to see Seattle Seahawks offense without Russell Wilson, just because, and like, this is so bad. I should never wish on someone's like downfall, but I just want to emphasize like how much Russell Wilson is like, he is the Seahawks. So I just want to see what's going to happen without him. We've never seen it. Russell Wilson has never missed, like, it's like 149 games, all 16 playoff appearances. He's never missed anything. So I'm just curious at what it's
if you were able to pick up Alex Collins on waivers, plug him into your fantasy lineup because he'll be running a lot today against the Steelers. Chip, obviously you're picking the Steelers, right?
Oh yeah, buddy.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I thought so.
All day, all night.
Steelers are going to be without Juju Smith-Schuster. He's out for the year with a shoulder injury. Really makes the value of Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool go up. So make sure you have those on your fantasy teams today. I also have the Steelers as well. This would have been a great matchup if Russ was in. This would have been a great matchup, but now it's going to be a throwaway game at the end of the day. This is the 8:00 primetime game, so it's just going to be like I might have to watch something on streaming instead of watching this game. It's going to be that bad.
Did we watch Halloween Kills yet?
No, I have not. How is it?
It was really good.
Really good? Okay.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters. That made it 10 times scarier because like the chairs were like vibrating as Michael Myers was walking. I was like, wow, this is awesome. Yeah, no, really good movie.
I've been treated to go watch the Squid Game on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I haven't gotten on that bandwagon yet.
Yeah, so I've heard it's pretty good. So I might do that tonight instead of watching the Steelers play the Seahawks. So I don't know. Any final thoughts before we get into week 6? Before we head on out, guys, starts and sits for this week. Anybody you have plugged into your lineup that you should have, and anybody to pick up on the waiver wire that you should try and get before the lineups lock today at 1.
I'm just very happy to have Dalvin Cook back this afternoon.
Me too.
Yeah, I needed that.
Never been more excited to have my entire team be hurt and continually be hurt. So we're just going to continue. We're going to ride this lovely wave that we're on. And, we made some acquisitions. So Calvin Ridley will be a part of the team next week. We'll have Jeff Wilson coming back from IR for the Niners. So he could be a running back that could start potentially. So trying to change some things before the end of the second quarter fantasy season by week 8. Hopefully that'll happen here shortly.
Okay. So. I have one final thought before our show is over for today. If you are in a fantasy league and you get mad about a trade that happened in your fantasy league, cry harder. Cry harder. My suggestion for you is to go make some trades. Just because you drafted crappy doesn't mean you have to, be a bitch about people making trades in your league. So especially even trades. So I say cry harder. And try and draft better the next time.
Try to trade and don't. I mean,
players,
you get injured and it's tough, especially a guy in my position, you have a team that's not playing well at all, and all your guys are injured, so you can't really trade people,
right?
Because you don't have anything that anybody wants. So hit waivers hard. Don't quit. I'm not going to quit. I'm 0-5, so don't quit. All your friends and everybody knows, you want to keep playing. You made a commitment to do it. Just do it for the seasons. Get through it, and it'll be okay.
I say this shit because that Jamar Chase, Chris Carson trade went through. And there was a guy in our league that's like bitching and moaning about it. It's like, look, I didn't know. Nobody knew he was going to go on the IR. And he's going to be back. It's an even trade. Like, I was running back heavy. I needed another wide receiver. The guy opposite that traded with me was wide receiver heavy. He needed a running back. And Chris Carson was my odd man out. So, hey, I made the trade and went through and it's good to go. So, but there's a guy in the league. He's just like bitching and moaning about it. But the guy, he's in like 7 other leagues. So it's like, why are you bitching and moaning about?
Holy cow!
Yeah, 7 leagues. Like that's way too many.
That's a full-time job.
Yeah,
I just want to give Trevor Lawrence a shout out because I really roasted him the first half of this game, and the throws that he's making right now are very impressive.
Look, you're right.
All right. 2017, Miami's up right now, but Trevor Lawrence heard me, and now he's gotten it together, and I'd love to see it.
The Jags are going to win in a field goal.
Yes.
They're going to win it by a field goal.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. For myself, Sporty Jordy, and Chip, everybody have a great week 6. We will see you tomorrow night for our Monday night recap show. Make sure to go on the Twitter and also the Instagram and subscribe and smash that follow button at the FU Dogs Pod on both of those handles. Make sure to subscribe on Twitch, YouTube, and also the other social media platforms we are. This has been the Fantasy Underdogs Podcast, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network and also betonline.ag. We will see you guys tomorrow night at 7. What are we doing, 7 or 7:30?
I think we've been doing 7:30.
Let's do 7:30. Yeah, because it's a recap show. All right, 7:30 tomorrow night. We will see you guys later. Have a good one. Peace.
Bye.